Welcome back, everyone. Standing on the old farm truck here. Sorry if there's a little bit of wind. It's kind of windy out here today. We got a beautiful day. It's about 78 degrees, a little bit of breeze, and we got our baseboards on all of our greenhouse. We got them all affixed. You can see we got nice square corners, runs all the way down. We have a little bit of wave in the middle where we had to connect both of our greenhouses, but for the most part, this whole dang thing is level and it is ready to get polyed almost. We're going to build our door frame separate from that, so we're going to get all the framing done before we get any poly on it, but we're going to get to ordering our poly here very soon. We need about 60 feet here just to cap it on each side, and we need about 24 feet to roll over the entire outside. We will clamp it down on these baseboards, and then we are going to attach our PVC all the way around this to create another shell in order to double poly this and blow air into it for a winter greenhouse. That is the whole purpose of this, is to grow throughout the winter and to be able to supply our winter market here and supply ourselves with an ample amount of greens throughout the winter, which we love to have. So last winter's experiment here has taught us everything we needed to know to build and to run this with hot compost. We're definitely going to be blowing warm air from our compost, traveling it through a pipe, and we're going to try and use hot water also, but that is for a later time. We have a while before it gets cold enough that we have to build a compost pile here on our northern wall. What I wanted to show is all of our framing and how we got everything situated. Every board we used on this entire project we got at a hefty discount. About 90% of the boards we used on this were free, and the other 10% of the boards we used were from a project we had done a long time ago, building a deck. So we used our extra 3 boards down on the front end here, 3 or 4 boards that we had already. They are brand new, they are pressure treated, so they will not rot on us. So what we had done is used pieces of old pallet in order to attach our boards together all the way around in order to get a nice, good, solid connection. This is about the only connection. We had to use it on both sides because one of our boards was a little weak. We had to fix a little flex in the board because it was a little warped. So we fixed it like this, and it is going to hold for us. We've got our nice 4x4 here running the whole length in between our 2 frames here. So this is nice and solid here. We have it attached at both ends to the hard frame, and it is not going anywhere, and it's going to protect our frame right here, and both of our greenhouses will be nice and solid. So I spent about $3 today on some wire hanger, the little hanger with holes in it. We're going to use some of that to solidify the walls real quick. That is going to be super easy, and I'm just going to tack those together after I get most of the framework done. This is for the most part level, but we have a little bit of work to do. As you can see, we have a little sway in it right up here about where the midpoint is. Same thing down on this side. This side you can see it a little bit more, so right about in here. It's got a little warp in it, but that is fixable because these boards are pretty malleable. We can move them, and that was our warped board also, so we had to pull it and draw it in to straighten it up. I am not worried about a couple warped spots. We are going to fix that and solidify and reinforce it once we get our second layer of poly and frame on here. So this will be a lot more solid anyway. And once we get both of our ends on and we build a nice arch in the middle of the greenhouse, and we have some more support along the top of it so we do not have any collapse, but we will have 2 frames, so we are not going to have all of the weight on this small frame of our greenhouse. All of the weight will be on the second layer of greenhouse that we're going to have out of 1 to 2 inch PVC. So it is going to be nice and taut. We will not have any issues with that. I built myself a nice little ramp here this morning because we were out here after we got this frame put together and everything pretty well solidified. I came out and ran my little makeshift tiller, a 1950s or 60s little tiller. I bought a new 3 horsepower motor, put it on, and it runs like a champion. So old things can be fixed and repurposed. This has worked very well. I may do a little video on that tiller I fixed up because it has worked wonders for me, and it was cheap, just like we like it. So I just wanted to bring this update and show what we're doing with the subframe and the floor here and how we're solidifying this before we get to building. And we had to have our basic building blocks in order to go up. We had to have a frame, and this thing is really coming together. I was super excited to show everybody, so hopefully everybody enjoys. If anybody has any suggestions for me, I know that we are going to be bracing it up. I will cut some angled boards and stick some braces in here so we can have all four corners nice and taut. This sits in here nice, pretty tight, so this is going to be perfect. This is going to work well for us. We're super excited. I can't wait to get growing in here. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you have any questions or suggestions, don't forget, I'm trying to build this with as much research and knowledge and help from everybody as I possibly can. So don't forget to drop me some comments in the section below, and I will drop a link to the video from last year where we experimented with heating our little greenhouse all winter.